Hi, and welcome to Swallowtail Collective, the podcast where we talk about me. No, we're here actually to, really, this is a pilot episode. It's an exploration. I've yet to even name the podcast, but it is presented by Swallowtail Collective. And, I envisioned, for a very long time, having started a podcast. And I asked how many people if they wanted to do it with me, if they wanted to do it with me. I really wanted to have a podcast with somebody. And really, it just seems that there's no better person to do this with than myself at this point. And so here I am doing things, and I'm really excited to be here with you all. Um, This will be a space where we really get to explore perspectives and ideas on social issues, ideas on ways of being, ideas on self-development, ideas of progress and politics and government and, ideas that are local or international, from the micro to the macro. Um, and so, a little about me to start. And really, this whole episode, I think, will actually just be about me because, it's just me here today, and we're just really finding the footing. And so that's really it. That's really what my process is and what I, advocate for in my work. So as Swallowtail Collective, a little background on Swallowtail Collective. Um, it is a passion project of mine. It is my baby. But the intention is that it is a collective. I'm moving towards a cooperative structure as I facilitate this program, as I develop, as I build as I design the project and the organization. I'm currently the sole proprietor, but I am, imagining the potential as I am currently building a business plan. Um, the idea is that it's a multidisciplinary coaching, consulting, and advocacy community and development hub and firm. So there's a lot going on there. And, so I am taking my time to really, build it out, but I'm moving through it all very intuitively. And so where these two things come together, myself and Swallowtail Collective, is that my approach to it has been just so deeply intuitive, driven by my ideas of progress and community and self. Um, and so, in recognizing that we live in a society that is deeply disenfranchising to the self, my work and what I bring to the table is that I understand how and why, and I seek to, bring awareness to the forces that are facilitating that disenfranchisement. And so much of that is driven by who I am and my progress, or my process rather, and both in my own journey of self-development and self-stewardship and really self-help. And the ways in which that I've been both privileged and gifted in recognizing myself and my self-worth and my self-potential, and then accessing all avenues to really, oh gosh, wow, to really self-actualize, to really self-realize, right? And so that's really the core of the work that Swallowtail Collective is and the work that I do as a member. Um, and it sounds really good to hear myself say that I'm a member of Swallowtail Collective, because although it's my vision and it's my dream, it's not mine, because it's not about me, because it's not about me. It's never about me. It's never been about me. And that's just not who I've ever been, even when it's all about me. And that's the circle of life, my friends. Because I just love being here so much and love sharing this time with you, this space with you, this experience with you. And so that's really what, Swallowtail Collective is about. a tagline that I have used with Swallowtail Collective, it's there in the bio of Swallowtail Collective's Instagram, is where spirit meets politics. And so what I do is I see the path that allows for both of these, you know, functions in society to coexist, but not only coexist, recognizing how politics has disenfranchised spirit in the pursuit of hegemonic economic interests. I mean, long story short, and especially now, neoliberal capitalism, but historically through, history, um, it is often and, um, you know, consistently, that the mechanism of, self disenfranchisement is often through spirituality, whether or not it's, conquering of, indigenous groups through colonialism and, the dissemination of, Christian doctrine and, the civilization of savages, or the witch trials, and the this is all just, I have a million things to say, and I'm here and I'm saying it and it's really exciting. I just needed to have that moment for myself right now because I'm really excited and I'm just so ready to dive right into this. But it's, it's the witch trials, and it's especially currently the attacks on, queerness and transness, and essentially anything that is a reminder of who our natural selves are outside of this constructed reality that is capitalism. Oh my gosh. That is our current, economic cycle and, societal order, our antisocial societal order, that seeks to posit greater the dead tree over the living. And again, I'm just so excited to be here. I couldn't even finish getting the words out before I could just say it. Oh, it feels so right. I feel so in alignment. And so now, a lot of the practice that I bring to the table is about cultivating alignment. I've been gifted, I've been afforded this gift of recognizing spirit, but also recognizing the universe, really one and the same, and how the universe has a natural order. We call it the divine order. And to be in alignment with that divine order means that you are operating in flow with the universal intention of experience and abundance and joy and suffering. There's this idea in many spiritual circles that, new age and old, that enlightenment comes through suffering. It's a Buddhist philosophy, and it's not that without our suffering can we recognize our own enlightenment. It's not without suffering that we can move into the light. It's not without the darkness in which that we have emerged that we can emerge, that we can step into, that we can allow and become that in which we are in eternal truth, which is light. It is that contrast that allows us to emerge, to see and separate and decide, because it is a decision. There is still a free will. It is a choice to step into the light. Now, to be clear, this isn't a religious podcast. This is a spiritual space, but I'm not a religious person. I do recognize the significance of religion. I understand, how it's impacted society, both good and bad. And I understand that there is a core truth to religion that it is seeking to teach, often the same truth that we have somehow confused in society, And then that's what humanity has done. There's this innate struggle for um, for resources. It's this, and it's not innate. 10:10 on the clock. It's not innate, but it is another extension of that same mechanism, that same tool of disenfranchisement that has been used against us. Because there is no struggle for resources. There's truly no struggle for resources. Um, there's this idea that we've been brought here to, or rather, we have anything that we have, we are meant to have. Anything that we want, we are meant to have. We cannot want what we cannot have. There's this idea that we have been provided for no matter what, and that was our divine right. That is our divine right. There is an idea that our desire is only our desire because it is already on its way. That there is no way we could want something if it wasn't already incoming. And if the only reason we're aware of that desire is because we're being afforded that awareness, that recognition. It's a signpost. It's like you've got mail. But I digress. So a little more about me. I have grown up in Toronto, um, you know, lower class to lower middle, in and out, back and forth, up and down. And I don't even know what class I'm in right now because I'm just like the trajectory of my life in the direction that I'm heading. I mean, you know, they say class mobility is a myth, but that's if you want to believe in class and if you want to uphold that structure of class. And so I try to take an anti-paradigmic approach to self-development and to progress, because recognizing that identitarianism has also its limitations and really is just another construct of the mind and the ego. It's this, like, again, struggle for resource that we don't necessarily need to, uphold. Recognizing that we are all entitled to what we require, what we need. And it's really more about allowing what we require and what we need to come to us greater than struggling for the lack thereof. It's the knowing that all things come back around. I had a friend growing up, and she used to always say to me, money goes in circles. And it's true. As soon as money leaves your hand, it's always coming back to you. And the faster you let it go is the faster it can come back. And, to put that into perspective, there was always arguments in my house growing up. My mother and my grandmother and my aunt, and, issues around money, and my mom always spending more than she had, and my grandmother always giving more than she wanted to, and, always just this struggle. But I realize now, and it's funny because my grandmother just passed away. And it's sad, and I love her to death, and I'll miss her forever. And now she's a memory, and I'm so grateful to have had it. And I think there's more to that I'll definitely expand upon. But for now, I'm at peace with that. And it took her dying to realize the truth. I mean, and I think a part of me did realize it as well, but I think I was missing something. And it's often true that when someone dies, you finally get the message delivered that they were intending on sharing, the truth, the breadth. There's a certain way about purpose that cannot come across when a person is alive if they're not in alignment. And that's why it's actually so important for you to stay in your alignment, for you to practice your alignment, for you to trust that you're here for a greater purpose. Because if you don't, and if you fall victim to these, the masquerade of forces that are here to illusion you into this way of struggle and thinking of struggle, and thinking that you are struggling, this, conditioning to struggle, you can lose yourself. You can lose the plot of your purpose, this divine you know, purpose of who you really are, who you really are, who you came here before everyone came here and told you who you are. Who are you really? And so my grandmother passes away, and I realized that my mom and the way that she went about money this entire time, which was she just spends it and has a good time doing it, was actually the right way, even though my grandmother made her out to be the villain all these years. And now I see it clearer than ever. And God knows that a generational abundance wound is now healing. We are in the mend collectively because I can now hold space for my mother's way of seeing money in that it is meant to be spent and trusting that it's always coming back. And I can support her reconditioning into abundant alignment and away from this, this generational struggle for resources. And so that's, also in alignment with just the other day, I have a Reiki, my Reiki master, but also she's my mentor, Skylar Shea. Maybe I will likely have her on here sometime, and I'm sure she'll love to hear that back when I share this with her. Hi, Skylar. I just the other day was listening to one of her podcasts or recordings, and it was a Reiki transmission. I'm a Reiki level 1. She's a Reiki master. I'm about to do my Reiki level 2. And actually, I just told her that when after listening to her transmission, talking about abundance and talking about, oh gosh, it was talking about energy blocks around money and how money is, our divine right, because money is not a construct. I mean, she might have not have said that, but it's something that came into alignment for me. And it's something that I've known for years, but it finally really came into perspective. In all of my teachings through all these years, starting with Abraham Hicks, who was someone that an ex shared with me a million years ago. God rest his soul. He's not dead, but he's dead to me. I I she talks about how money and the struggle for it is it's a fool's game, that the more we struggle for resource, the more we're actually pushing it away. It's like she describes it as it's a cork that you're holding below water. And if you just let it go, it would float back up to the top. Anything that we're struggling for is like a cork that we're holding below water. And if you just let it go, it's going to float back to the top. And that goes for everything. There is no struggle when we release the struggle. And, take it from me, I'm a control freak. I'm a Virgo. I'm a Virgo rising, and my Mercury's in Virgo. So I mean, Virgo rising's nature is self-criticism, and just Virgo wants to kind of control everything, because we have a way of doing things. We see the way. We have a gift of seeing the way. We have the gift of refinement. We understand and we see the big picture, and then we know exactly how to make it better. That's our gift. That is our purpose in this world. And so we don't want to necessarily let go because we're doing everything right. So why can't we just hold on to everything that we're doing right over here? But really, it was gifted to me, afforded, that I got to remember that I don't need to struggle. I can let it go, and I can actually trust myself. I can actually trust that I'm going to follow through, that there's no rush. I can trust that there's a greater richness afforded in stillness than can ever be pursued in movement. When you consider ideas of abundance, it's interesting that the first thing that comes to mind for me is the fat person on the on that is it chasse lounge, chasse away. Lounge, Chase Lounge. Somebody tell me if I'm saying right. I don't think I am, but anyway, Chase Lounge, being fed grapes, and they're just relaxing. Like the energy of abundance is not struggle. The energy of abundance is not, it's not hustle. That is not the money-making mentality. The energy of abundance is knowing that you've got it and it's being fed to you by someone else. And I mean, that really is capitalism, isn't it? In a nutshell. God damn it. Oh my God. But you don't actually need to be fed by anyone else. And you actually have every power. Like there's no exploitation. Capitalism, again, now to bring it through the political lens, it's this idea that we need to exploit others to create, exponential profits. This idea that profit is king, as if it's, necessary, as if it somehow makes us more, as if hoarding wealth actually makes us better people, or is like, what is the delusion around profit? I don't understand it. Because if you look at it through this lens, and my definition of economy is essentially the movement of resources to meet the needs of the community. That is economy. It is this system that gets goods from point A to point B to meet the needs of the community. That's economy. And so capitalism is actually anti-economy because it's not positioned to meet the needs of the community. It's positioned to it's not positioned to meet needs. It's not positioned to meet needs at all. It's a fallacy. Capitalism in of itself is this fallacy of a structure that we've all been sold and bought into, conditioned to believe that we are anti-community and anti-self. And we don't even believe we're anti-self. Here we are in pursuit of ourselves using anti-self mechanisms because capitalism is anti-self. Capitalism doesn't want you to be yourself. Capitalism doesn't want you to recognize your innate wholeness because if you did, you wouldn't say, no, or you wouldn't say yes. You wouldn't say yes. You would say no. As I've come to terms with myself, and I actually have a greater capacity than ever to say no, to decide, you know what? It's funny. I walked into a store the other day, Must in Home Society. It opened a block away from my house. It's this great furniture store, and I was walking around and I thought, wow, all this stuff, it's so good. I'm on the precipice of this is so great. I can't wait to buy all this new furniture or whatever. Suddenly, and I'm not my apartment, it's filled with vintage and antique and retro findings that I source off of Facebook Marketplace. I don't have one new piece of furniture in my house. And suddenly I walked into the store knowing I'm stepping into my highest timeline of abundance and I wanted new things like I deserved it. And that's the lie that capitalism sells. It's it makes you think that you've worked so hard for so long that now you get to just, afford all this new stuff and, this, it conditions this materialist attitude, it drives this subconscious desire to treat yourself. That's really what it thrives on. And it's I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. Some of this stuff was really nice and cool. It actually would be kind of nice to have some new stuff maybe. But there's nothing wrong with my bed. But for some reason, I want to redesign my space. Who am I? Who do I think I am? Where do I think I'm coming from? As if I'm not still Jenny from the block and now I have a bit of money and suddenly I need to show it off or what is it? Where is this coming from? Because my bed is so comfortable. I have no problems with it. I like my couch. Mm, you know, like there's no reason. I have this antique table set and I really love it actually. It just needs some refinishing. I need to replace a couple of the chairs, the seats on them. but it's like this beautiful set and I have no problem with it. And it's so well crafted. I took it from this old couple that were going to throw it out. They were going to throw it out and I went and picked it up. It was made in the 60s. It's like the 60-year-old table set and it's still solid wood, aside from these particle board freaking seats that are falling apart. And everything these days is made of freaking particle board. Like, you know, it's ridiculous. And so gratefully, I'm, you know, aware, self-aware enough to realize this is happening for me. Gratefully, I am self-aware enough to realize that this is happening. Even in me, a person who is anti-capitalist. I am anti-capitalist because I am pro-environmentalist, or I'm pro-environment. I care more about with the community, and the community includes the environment, than I care about, you know, new things. We're in a plastic crisis. We're in an environmental crisis. We're in a climate crisis right now. I don't need new things. It's the last thing that I need is new things right now. Please give me your donated goods. I will buy them if you need some cash, whatever. But like, I don't care for new stuff. I haven't done clothes shopping in years. Like, I bought an outfit off of a couple, and so I will be honest, I bought something off of, I think it was Shein, back in the summer for my friend's wedding. I bought like one thing, and so I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. And like another thing off of like ASOS or something like that. Like, this is fast fashion, right? And of course, I'm becoming greater aware of this now as I become just greater aware of these issues. And so I've like set the intention to like not to do that again, you know, to be more mindful and to just shop secondhand overall for clothes. There's so much clothes out there. I mean, I had a vision for an outfit and it was cute. I can show you pictures, but like, was it worth it? I haven't worn it since. Like, would I wear it again? Probably. But like, is there probably high levels of lead in it? Absolutely. Should I check it out? Maybe. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, was it worth it? I don't know. So, you know, it's just like that. And we just have such a responsibility to ourselves to be ourselves and not just be ourselves. Like, cute. Like, you know, there's like that conversation around acceptable vulnerability. And no, it's not just be yourselves in acceptable vulnerability. It's actually be yourself. And if you don't know who that is, find out. Do the work. Do the hard work. Reject everything you ever knew so that you can actually come to terms with who you are. It's not easy. I did it. It wasn't easy. It was not easy. At times it was uncomfortable. At times I cried a lot. But I actually, it was like, there's nothing more rewarding than knowing who you are. Because as soon as you know who you are, it's like an investment, you know? It's like, you want to invest in yourself in the capitalist structure, invest in yourself in the real structure, in reality, in the truth of, you know, of life, of being alive. Be alive. Stop selling yourself short. Don't sell yourself short. Do not sell yourself short. You matter. Who you are matters. Who you are is the most important thing that any of us have to offer, because that is our purpose. That is why we've come here. We have purpose. Life has purpose. Life has purpose. And capitalism doesn't give life purpose. Under capitalism, the dead tree is worth more than the living. Under capitalism, it is the selling of your soul that turns a profit. It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense to me. It is not life that we are receiving back from capitalism. We are investing our lives into this structure that is not giving back. We are all collectively, as a society, both richer and broker than ever. The income gap is widening, and that is true. We are working harder and earning less than we ever have. Somehow, make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. So there has to be another way to be going about this, because we are giving way too much and getting back way too little. I shouldn't be this mad about it, but I am. I'm pissed. I'm pissed off for all of us. I am angry. And it's because I know we deserve better. And it's because I know we are so much more capable. You know, capitalism does a really good job at selling us short. It makes us struggle for minimum wage and for promotions and for, sales at the grocery store and for love and for sex and for community. And it just wants us to struggle. And all of this struggle does so well to sell us cheap things that we don't need. And the things are getting cheaper. The things are getting cheaper and the community are getting sicker because we're being sold crap. We're being sold literal garbage. Like we're actually being sold, they're taking garbage and they're packaging it up into food product and then they're selling it to us. And then we're throwing out the plastics and they're ending up in the oceans. And it's just, and we know now better than ever that there's actually plastic in our bodies because we're just consuming literal garbage. And it's not just plastic. It's the actual ingredients in these hyper processed foods, and we're working and moving faster than ever. And we can't keep up. So we're eating badly. And it's just not only you. It's not just you. And it's so much deeper because there's actual massive size, the lower class is the largest, the lower and underclass are the largest classes in all society. And there is no, in the global society, in the global community, and there is no, what, we should actually fact check that. But what I'm saying is that generally speaking, more people are eating badly than they're eating well. More people are being, what, I'm going to stop because I don't know if this is true. But I believe it's true. And so let's talk about that because I'm an intuitive, okay? Um, and I know I'm jumping around a lot, and just go with me on this because we're finding the groove, okay? And I'm gonna listen back, and I'm gonna take my own notes. I'm gonna know that maybe I should have slowed down and really articulated certain points. And this is all learning for me. And thank you for being here on this journey. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I'm an intuitive. And so that brings us back in full circle. And I think we're coming to an end in this episode. But I'm an intuitive. And what I've learned in my journey of self-actualization is that I'm an intuitive. I've been intuitive my entire life and nobody told me. And not only did nobody tell me, nobody created the opportunity for me to realize it. It did not exist in my family. It did not exist in my class. It did not exist in the society structure beyond that which I then sought out. So I came to terms with the realization that I did not know who I was and that I was acting like it. And so I needed to find my way out of that maze, that rabbit hole, that rat trap, that, 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 what was it? A wormhole, a black hole, anyway, and a lot of people get lost in there. We have entire classes of people just lost in this rat trap that the world has set up for us, that the world has created for us. Oh my God. So that we spend money for other people and make them rich. It doesn't make sense. You deserve so much better. We all deserve so much better. And we deserve so much better at a high standard with greater accessibility. These both things can be absolutely true. We can both have high standards and greater accessibility. And what is standard doesn't need to be inaccessible on anyone else's standard. We all can take our time to get there on our own terms. And that's the life and the society that we need to be creating together, that we need to be building together, is this accessibility, because all things are equal. We are all equal here. There is no disparity in how we both enter life and leave it. We all are born and we all are die, and in between, we are all the same. That is it. And so we need to act like it, and we need to treat ourselves as such, with such love and such compassion, because we are divine. We are the divine. We are the divine intention. We are the divine expression. We are the voice of the universe.